Coming to you from the UCCU Center in Presidential South, I'm Brice Larson.
Jarod Ivins, this is Protect the Den.
This is Protect the Den. Produced in Orem, Utah, and found on YouTube, Twitter, and all podcast locations.
Cortez skipping it to De Los Santos, who just hit one from there and connect.
Here are your hosts, Jarod Ivins and Brice Larson.
We welcome you again to Presidential South. Jarod Ivins and Brice Larson. It's just an absolutely beautiful day, and we're so excited and thrilled to be here.
We've got a stacked show ahead of you.
Yeah.
Wednesday, the 15th of April.
Day 50, 90 of quarantine? What?
And it's the first day that athletes are allowed to sign in the spring signing.
Yeah, that's
regular
like
signing period.
It's massive. It's coming down. We're gonna jump right into it and talk about that coming up. We're gonna give you the brand new Wolverine of the Week. Talk about our headlines. We have a great interview with new recruits and what that means for the program, and speak to them and have Matt Baiamonte join on the show later.
Big dog Matt Baiamonte. Well, we're going to start off with Wolverine of the Week. Our Wolverine of the Week this week goes to Neha Sohail.
She had that incredible dribbling workout that she did with her brother,
who's also a Division I athlete.
And they absolutely just nail it on the spot, better than anything I've done in a while.
Great coordination.
Yeah.
Better than any of the TikTok girls I've seen.
I know, I'm getting sick of this, man. It's tough to stay active and stay in shape for this quarantine period. I mean, Brice knows better than anyone. But we're hyped to see all of the ways that our UVU athletes are staying active, shooting, dribbling, passing, scoring, whatever it is for whatever sport. It's incredible to see all of the lengths that they're going through.
Yeah, it keeps us from going crazy just a little bit, you know.
I'm so
It just prolongs our craziness.
Okay, that's better.
All right, let's jump right into the headlines now. Signing period has begun, and Mark Madsen and Dan Nielsen have announced a few signings for the men's and women's basketball team.
Yeah, they're not holding back one bit.
For the men, so far, Trey Farrer, he has committed to UVU from Snow College.
Yeah, we saw that on his Twitter that he announced.
And earlier today, we've had Latrey Darthard and Asa McCord also sign with the Wolverines.
Yeah, we spoke to Latrey last week, you remember, about his commitment, which we're super hyped about, excited to have him be on the show and also to come out to UVU soon. But their announcement and commitment was made official this morning. Asa McCord coming from just up the road. Going to be a huge asset. We're going to talk about them in just a minute. And for the women's, Allie Blackham announced on Twitter that she is fully committed to UVU as well. So Dan Nielsen and Mark Madsen not holding anything back, going all out there, big names, and making moves for the program.
Yeah, huge gets for both programs. And that actually brings us into our first topic of the day. And that first topic is about these recruits that UVU has brought in.
Yeah, Brice, what do these recruits bring to the table? What are you excited to see from them? What are you expecting to see from them?
The biggest thing that I'm excited about for both of these teams is Latrey Darthard. I think
love that guy, dude.
I think he's the biggest get for this men's basketball team, in the fact that he told us last week he plans on staying here at UVU for 3 full seasons. And he's going to contribute all 3 seasons that he's here.
Yeah.
He's a huge get, and he's fully committed to Utah Valley and making Utah Valley a big Division I program, especially behind Mark Madsen.
Yeah. The 2 biggest things for me are, number 1, stability, and number 2, shooting. I'll get to shooting in just a second, but stability. Just like you said, Brice, with Latrey, he's here to stay, he's here to play, and so are all these other guys with immediate eligibility.
Yeah.
And with 2 or 3 years left in their playing career in college level, it's such an asset to have that stability. You know, UVU men's team, they lost 6 players from last year's team. That's due to seniors graduating or transfers. Now, they've replaced some of them, but they're replacing them with players that are going to be able to play for an extended period of time.
Yeah.
That's something that UVU hasn't had. They've struggled. They've had multiple coaches in the last couple of years. Mark Pope was here, and then he left, took players with him. Mark Madzik comes in, new coach, new coaching staff, new players as well. Then players leave. Now he's still here, new players coming in. So this is going to be a chance for UVU to finally have some stability and be able to build around this program and find some for themselves. The second one for me, shooting. Shooting is going to be key. UVU shot trash this year from 30%. I mean, okay, it's something they're going to improve on.
20% against Cal Baptist last year. Just want to throw that out there.
It's not going to get any better unless they sign these players. So they've added 2 great shooters, Colby Leifson and Latrey, and maybe more that will join. And they added a big man, Trey Farrer, who's going to join the show in just a couple minutes. But those additions are going to space the floor.
They will.
Latrey, Colby out on the wings, top of the key corners, and then Trey down low.
Yeah, having a big man down low, 6'9", Trey Farrer, who can really get work done inside. It's gonna cause teams to have to double team, and once you try to double team, it's gonna he'll be able to have that option to kick out to those shooters out on the corners, and we'll see what happens. But they're looking really good on paper. Now, what does that translate to on the court? It really depends on if this team can gel and can come together and play as a team. That's one thing that we heard on the court from J.J. Overton last year.
Yeah, he was very specific in that.
Talking about how they need to pass the ball around and stop playing selfishly. And when they do that, they're a much better team.
Yeah, they limit turnovers, they get better open shots, and they will win games. A little bit more about Trey Farrer. He played a year at Snow College, averaged 12.8 points per game, shot 54% from the field. This is a big man with great skills, and he really showed it last year. Had a couple games where he played all out.
Yeah,
14
he was
points.
A National Junior College All-American while at Snow as well.
Yeah. So we're going to have him join on the show in just a few minutes, and we're excited to get to know him a little bit better. And we're excited to have all of these new recruits joining the UVU athletic program to further their careers, further their education, and to show UVU and the world what we're all about.
Yeah, and it'll be exciting to see all of the women's basketball prospects start to trickle in. As coronavirus has extended the signing period all the way through August or November, whichever one it was. So we're going to be able to see over the whole summer a lot of recruits being able to sign. I assume a lot of them will be able to, they'll sign early, but it'll be fun to see how Dan Nielsen does with his recruiting as well. And later on in the show, we're going to get Matt Baiamonte's take on that as well.
Definitely.
Well, thank you for joining us today. On the other side, we are going to have our interview with Trey Farrer. This is Protect the Den.
Welcome back to Protect the Den. I'm Jarod Ivins alongside Brice, Larson, and we're excited now to be joined by new UVU commit, Trey Farrer. Trey, how you doing, man?
Doing pretty good. How about yourself?
I'm doing great, Brice.
Yeah, we're doing good today, man.
Yeah, it's a beautiful day. We're excited to hear about your commitment to UVU and to have you on the show.
Yeah, I'm excited to be here.
All right, Trey, so the first question we have for you, tell us a little bit about yourself and your career up to this point.
For sure. So I'm from St. George, Utah. Went to Pineview High School, and then I graduated in 2017 and went on a LDS mission to Chicago. And so this past year at Snow is where I went after my mission. This was my first year back. And so just was at Snow College this last year, had a really great experience. We ended up finishing second in the conference, and I ended up having a really, really good year and just felt like, everything was going good, and it was just kind of a really good experience for me. I don't know.
Yeah, man, you had you were averaging 13 points a game, shooting 54% from the field. You had a great season, and Snow played really well, and we're very excited for you. How was that experience for Stowe College. How do you think that prepared you to come to Division I? You know, that's always been a goal of yours. How did that prepare you?
Yeah, so especially I think snow was pretty essential or crucial for me just coming home off my mission, just because of the fact I hadn't played kind of competitively for 2 years. And so being able to kind of ease my way back into it, be able to get my body right and get back in shape, and then just get everything moving the way it was supposed to be going. It was just a really good fit. And obviously started out the season a little shaky. We had a really good kind of national schedule. We played some of the best teams in the nation consistently. So just being able to go up against some of the top JUCO talent throughout the year really just helped me figure out my game, helped me get back to where I wanted to be and just kind of develop as a player. And then just kind of as the season went on and we kept playing, things just kept clicking. I just kept getting better and better, and it just felt it was kind of nice. Started getting looked at by some schools, and then kind of evidently Utah Valley and a few other schools offered me, and obviously I decided to come here to Utah Valley. It just kind of felt like a good fit with Coach Madsen and the program that you guys got.
Well, Trey, UVU recently has signed some shooters in Colby Leifson and also Latrey Darthard. How do you feel that your inside game is going to help out their outside game, and how do you guys think you're going to gel in that sense?
Yeah, well, obviously, it's huge to be able to have people all over the court in all 5 positions that can score the ball. And so as a big man, it makes my job easier, and it makes it makes the game just flow a lot better when you're surrounded by good shooters, because it just creates a lot better spacing for them as shooters. People have to stay out on them and guard them. They can't leak off. And then if people come double team me in the post, it's an easy kick out in 3 points. And then vice versa. If it's just one-on-one in the post, I'm very confident in myself that I'll be able to get a bucket, to make a good move, or make a play for the team. And so being surrounded by big shooters is huge. And especially with the signing of those 2 guys and the guys that are already in the program, I think we'll have some really good pieces to put together to have a good year.
And we think, that main focus of having a team that gels obviously is what makes a team function. But you spoke a little bit about other players as well as the coaching staff. What was the main draw for you, or thing that invited you or enticed you to coming to UVU?
Yeah, for sure. It was a hard decision, honestly. Being from Southern Utah and getting recruitment by schools from kind of all over the place, but obviously I believe in this coaching staff and Coach Madsen and a lot of the guys that he has surrounding them, and just what their track record is. Obviously, Coach Madsen's a multiple-time NBA champ, played in the league for a while, and then there was just a lot that went into it. It wasn't really one deciding factor for me. It was just, at the end of the day, it was just what I felt best. I felt like I had a really good relationship with Coach, and I was there was a lot that went into it, but that was kind of what it came down to, is where it just felt like the best fit after watching kind of their style of play and kind of what I wanted for in my college experience. That was kind of what Utah Valley provided, the best experience, the best option for me.
All right. Well, thank you, Trey, for joining us today, man.
Yeah, no, thanks for having me. It's been a pleasure getting to know you guys, and I'm excited to get up there to Utah Valley and get going.
All right.
When do you think you're coming up? Do you know yet? With all the stuff going on?
Right now, everything's kind of up in the air. I know usually midsummer is when most of the guys go up there and start working out and start playing, but if this whole virus situation keeps playing out, then I don't really know what will happen. Obviously, I want to get up there as soon as possible, so if things clear up, I'll be up there soon, but if it's prolonged, it is what it is, but we'll see what happens.
All right. Well, Wolverine fans, that was Trey Farrer, the newest UVU men's basketball commit. On the other side, we will have an interview with none other than Matt Baiamonte.
Welcome back to Protect the Den for our final segment of the day. we are now joined by former UVU alumni and play-by-play commentator, host of Cougar Sports Saturday, Matt Baiamonte. Matt, how you doing, man?
I'm doing great. Glad to be on here with you guys. Appreciate it.
Yeah, we're excited to have you on and talk some UVU hoops, talk some volleyball. But, you know, you've been with UVU for a couple of years now. Walk us through your story and how that all went down for you to get to where you are now.
So I graduated from UVU in 2013. I'm 31 years old, but yet it's thinking about the past. It gets a little murky as the years go on, but graduated in 2013. And like my sophomore year, I dreamed of being a broadcaster. I did sports broadcasting from a high school at Pleasant Grove. And so I started to write for the school newspaper and got in touch with some of the athletic staff, and they had a need for a play-by-play for women's sports, and that evolved. And so I've done play-by-play for almost all sports at Utah Valley for a number of years. My first game doing play-by-play was a women's basketball game way back in 2011, and I've done women's basketball games ever since, and volleyball shortly after, and done some soccer and some men's hoops. So I've kind of been all around at Utah Valley, and it's been awesome. I don't think there's a lot of people who get the opportunity to do broadcasting at the school they attend. And so anytime I get to call a game for Utah Valley, I'm really honored to be given that privilege.
Yeah, and it's really cool that you have that opportunity to call women's volleyball, women's basketball. So let's kind of talk about that women's basketball team. You know, they started slow this year, 1-9. Then they turned their whole season around, went on a 7-game win streak.
Yep.
What were some of the highlights for you from that women's basketball season?
I think for me personally, it was watching the individual growth of some of the players, like Maria Carvalho. What she did this year as a sophomore was really fantastic. She took her game to another level. Eve Brassis was another person. Being able to witness Coach Nielsen's first year too was really interesting, because Coach Nixon had been there for so long and built this really good program. And what Coach Nixon was able to see the Wolverines do for decades was really impressive. But then to see her turn that over to Coach Nielsen, and just to watch some of those players evolve, because the team 2 years ago was really young. And so to watch this team get some more experience, I mentioned a couple players. I just think seeing their individual growth this year was impressive. And there were some good wins in there too. That road trip where they beat New Mexico State and UTRGV, that doesn't happen very often. And so I think this program is in good hands, and I think they're on the up and up.
Yeah, for sure. Obviously, the season didn't end as we had hoped it to end. And, you know, that was an eventful night down there in Las Vegas, which proved to be the last full day of basketball as we know it. That was incredible. Walk us through a little bit of your thoughts of how that went down from your side.
Yeah, so I was there a couple days. Did you guys go?
Yeah, we were down there. We had shows set up and interviews with players that all, fell through because of it as well. So it's interesting our side.
So when you guys showed up, I had just left. So I was down there for the WCC tournament and saw some of the Mountain West tournament as well. And then the WAC was right after that. So I remember talking to some other media members at one of the, I think it was like Pacific, and I can't even remember now, Pacific and San Francisco. And the coronavirus COVID-19 stuff was just starting to gain some traction. And I was like starting to get a little afraid of what was going to happen, but I didn't think we would see anything happen before the end of the basketball season. So the fact that you guys were there and it was canceled, that happened in, it seemed like a day or two. It went from, this is serious to sports are shut down. What was that like for you guys? I can't even imagine what that was like.
For us, it was kind of wild. We got down there also for the West Coast Conference, doing some coverage there, and then for the WAC tournament, we set up, interviewed both men's and women's coaches and players, and it was the UVU women's game that during the game is when things, went to hell. Everything fell apart about halftime, or right after halftime. Rudy Gobert tested positive, and the game was postponed. And so more things are gaining traction. Just after that is when the NBA shut down the season, and then we just saw it start to trickle from there.
I don't know what's worse, losing that game like the women's team did, or not being able to finish your season. I mean, I'm sure the Wolverines would have loved to have won that game, myself included, but that was going to be their last game regardless. So looking back on that, it's like, I don't know. There's a finality to their season because of the way that it ended, but it's never fun to go out in the tournament early either. So I don't know. I'm sure Coach Nielsen would prefer to winning that game. And then it's such a crazy time, guys. I mean, feels so bad for these college athletes, especially UVU had a finality to their season, but let's say they win. I mean, it's just gut-wrenching that there's seniors who were, especially in basketball, it's such a build-up for March, right? It's what we wait for, the conference tournament and then the NCAA tournament, and you get there and then you don't get to play in any postseason tournaments. It's really tough. It's so unfortunate. I really feel for all of them.
Yeah, it was a pretty crazy season. But now let's kind of switch gears here as well, and let's kind of talk about this volleyball team. The volleyball team, they struggled to start the season. They found their stride at the end of the year. And what was your favorite memory from that volleyball season?
Oh, man. That is a great question. My favorite memory from the season. This was a challenging season, and I think that Coach Atoa or anyone on the team would say that. There was a lot of adversity for this team. There were some injuries. Kristen Bell was someone who was, I think, primed to have a big-time year, and then just wasn't able to get healthy. And then same thing with Michaela Jarema. She was such a force at the net and then had some injuries that prevented it. And this team just never was able to overcome some of the adversity. Favorite memory would I think easily be the 3-0 sweep over UTRGV in the championship. That was awesome to see them clicking. That probably looked the best they looked all year. That was a blast. It was a bummer that they fell three sets to none to New Mexico State, but I think there's so much talent on this team. I really think that this year's team is going to make some noise in the Western Athletic Conference.
Yeah, and we're all trying to survive a time right now that's unprecedented with no sports, but sports are going to come back, and it looks to be hopeful for fall sports and winter sports, obviously, going forward. So just to finish off with you today, what UVU team has you most excited for this coming year that you're looking forward to most?
Honestly, it's the volleyball team. They have so much talent, guys. I mean, you guys know as well as anyone, but Kasna Terafiti is unbelievable. I hesitate to say this because I don't want to put the pressure on her, but I think that she could be, when her career is done, the greatest volleyball player that's ever played at Utah Valley. I mean, she's already in the record books, and she has 2 years to go. She is phenomenal. And she graduated from Pleasant Grove High School, and so did I, so maybe I have that extra connection there with Kasna. But she is phenomenal. Sarah Merrill, the way she plays the game is fantastic. She's going into her senior year. You're going to get healthy now. You get Kristen Bell back from injury. I mean, I think this team has all the pieces. They've got the depth. They've got the star talent. They've got the defense. There is a little bit of a concern at the net. Can they be as good of a defensive team at the net in terms of blocking as they have been in the past? But I think that women's team has the possibility to do something they've never done before. And they're not the only good team at Utah Valley, but I think I love that team. I'm so excited to be a part of it and to witness what they can do.
Yeah, they do have that opportunity to have a special season coming up in the fall. But hey, Matt, we're grateful for you for joining us today.
Yep. Hey, as a Wolverine alum, I'm happy to talk Wolverines with you guys anytime. So if you ever need a guest to come on, hit me up.
We always will, man. We'll use that.
Absolutely. Well, whether it's by podcast or YouTube or anywhere that you watch Protect the Den, remember to give us a 5-star rating and also leave a comment.
2 stars is fine. Check it out.
We're grateful for you tuning in today. Jarod?
We're grateful for this trying time. We're going to be here through Corona, and we're going to get out of it together. But until next time, go Wolverines and protect the Den.